What is up, everybody? OCD Mikey, HiFi guy here for another edition of the Mikey Show. And today, what I am bringing you is I'm bringing you to the edge of the squirrel hole, and we are going to look down the rabbit hole, as it were. The squirrels live down there too. This is serious squirrel bait, and I will tell you, I don't know how to put this into into a context, but this telling you and showing you this is almost like if you've never seen a naked lady, let's see, and I took you to a high-end strip club in Las Vegas, better yet, South Florida, because anything goes in South Florida. And you would be so under the ether, it would release demons that you did not know existed within yourself or within the world. There would be temptation and fantasy would abound. You would believe in things that were fantasy and you would believe them to be real, like this girl really likes me, that kind of stuff. This is the same kind of dark art, if you will. Now, that being said, there is a fine line within the tweaks. We'll call them audio tweaks or the rabbit hole, okay? There's a fine line between some of these companies and some of these people. I've met many of these people, and some of them I absolutely love. And what I love about some of these guys that are many people consider cuckoo birds or whatever, okay? They're perfect for me because I'm a cuckoo bird too, right? And I believe in things that are supernatural, that we can't measure, things that are greater than what measurement can measure. Spiritual realm, if you will, quantum area, things that we're just learning about. The Higgs boson leads into a whole area that we can apply towards HiFi. Some of these designers, the way their minds work, they're extremely passionate about the, shall we say, dark area or the unknown, okay, the unexplainable. So it's super interesting because it's like an unexplained mystery, right? And it's fun to listen to these guys, and they're so passionate about it, they're so into it. So I want you to know, I'm going to show you some things here as we talk about this that are extraordinary, and you may think they seem stupid, but that's not the point I'm trying to make, okay? I'm not bashing any of the companies that sell these. I'm not bashing any of the people that make these things. I'm simply want to open the book for you folks that really have no idea how far audiophiles go, because you guys sit there and you go, oh, you got a $24,000 DAC, and you guys like give me shit because I use a $24,000 DAC, or a $2,000 power cord I sell or something like that, and you guys don't know the half of it. Let me put this on. I just remembered. See, look, I'm remembering now to put this on airplane mode so it doesn't ring while I'm talking to you guys. Because again, this is unscripted. I'm flying off the seat of my pants right now. So you will not believe how far this goes, and I intend to give you a little taste of what the audio tweaks world is, which is way further than the other stuff. Okay, it makes the other stuff. You'll after the time we're done, you'll think the $24,000 DAC is like a great way to get out alive, right? Okay, so I am going to bring up now. This all started. I'm going to start with something simple. Okay, I'm going to start with a company called Bybee Technologies. Okay, this is a guy who's no longer with us. His name was Jack Bybee. This dude was like, man, I can't remember exactly how old he was, but I think he was over 90. I think it was like 91 or something like that. And this guy was so, I hate to use the word cute, but he was cute, man. He was this little old guy that wore a captain's hat, and he would show up at the shows, and he would have products in his hands, and he was just the nicest, most gentle, sweet man that you'd ever met. And he worked and again, I'm going from memory, so I may not be completely correct, but from what I understand, he was in the Navy, he worked in submarines, and typically you'll find a lot of people that were in the military that do the tweaks come from stealth technology, radar technology. I think Jack had experience in the radar from back. I mean, he's 90 some years old. So, making submarines invisible, and making them quiet so you can't hear them when they're underwater, so the enemy can't hear them, things like this. And then also radio transmissions, microwaves, how to send signals and have them and receive them and have that not emit emissions that can be traced by the enemy, things like this. So usually covert ops or top secret, type science is where a lot of these guys come into the hi-fi realm, or the rabbit hole, as it were, the tweaks. Some of them worked at NASA, and they worked in communications, typically for aerospace industry. So I had a guy over here the other day that worked on the SR-22 and the U-1 or the U-2. And I mean, top secret aircraft. So they come from aerospace a lot of times. Really smart guys. I love the conversations with these guys because they think outside the box. And in many ways, some of these folks that I'm going to show you are anti-establishment. Jeff Cate is one of these guys I'm going to show you. I do not even know him. I left him a message today. I left Tweet Geek, Mike, another, because he sells some of these things. I want to talk with these guys, and we're going to delve into this, and I'm going to bring this to you a little bit more as I dig a little bit deeper into this. I know these guys I see them at the shows and stuff, but I want to talk to them a little more and find out where they stand on some of these things. I'd love to talk to Jeff because what he brings to the table is like hyper out there, but I'm totally intrigued by it, and it interests me. So let's start with Jack Bybee. Okay, I'm going to bring this up. So here we have the Bybee quantum signal enhancer. Okay, this is a piece of wood. It's just like a wood slat, right? He's got things inside it. Okay, or there's a layer of something. Now there's all sorts of materials. You could put a layer of absorption, RFI absorption sheet, and you could put a layer on the bottom of this wood, and then you could put that RFI absorption sheet with wood on top, mass load your piece of equipment, and absorb any RFI that's emitting from that unit. And it could potentially change the sonic. And in many times it does. So here's something that they're selling, and you place it under or over any kind of signal carrying wires, components, and power supply. So that's good. This is, I'm guessing, an RF absorber. Actually, it says it affects the polarity of all electrons and protons. So this is magnetic. Okay, so this is activated by electromagnetic field, and it takes that 13th electron or whatever the hell it is. I can't remember the number. Again, I'm not a scientist, so I'm going off memory. It takes the loose electron, whatever it is, and it makes it spin, and all the spins line up, something like that, right? The electron spins line up when electrons are moving, and when they all spin in the same direction, it's called spintronics. They move more efficiently. So that's what this is from what I gather. Okay. And I'm taking a very broad understanding of this. I'm not claiming, I'm definitely not an expert, right? We're looking at this from the outside, and I'm bringing you guys into this world. I spent many years researching just on a surface level materials. I bought all these materials. I looked into electromagnetic materials that were for use around electromagnetism, how to inhibit electromagnetism, how to ferromagnetics, paramagnetics, all these different things that work in the magnetic field to do different things. And a lot of these products exist in that realm. Now, if we knew what these materials were, everybody's top secret, right? All these guys are top secret. They don't tell you what this is. This is an IQSE. The IQSE has a battery in it. It's got an electrode and a different thing. I've had some of these. I pulled one apart to look inside. There was some goop that Jack had that he used. Everybody kind of has a goop that's loaded. It's doped something or other material. It has a carrier material, and then they dope it with nanomaterials inside. If that's even the correct term, they put nanomaterials inside, and then you surround it around other things, or you get it in the presence of electromagnetism, and it does something. So what's neat about these Jack's items is they're very conservative. They're $150 each. They're not taking us to be assholes. They're just, $250 each. This is $650 in each. These are things that you plug in, active room neutralizers. Okay, so these are things that you active means it probably transmits. Okay, so we plug this thing in, and it activates. I tend to personally, I've been through this, man. I've been through the Audio Magic as another guy. I should pull him up too, because let's see. Let me pull him up because he deserves a little recognition here. The Audio Magic guy is typically does things also at lower prices than the next guy. Fuses and cables. Yeah, see, they've got the fuses. Okay, super fuses, beeswax. Okay, so we'll bring him up because if you guys want to research some cuckoo stuff, go to audiomagic.com, audio-magic.com. Go to bybtech, BYBEETECH.com. And you can look at this stuff and just kind of scramble your brain. Okay, now keep in mind, again, I am opening the door to a strip show. Okay, this is a peep show. This could very likely release demons. You could pick up a couple demons. When you look at this, it might trigger something in your cuckoo brain, and it might be squirrel food for your squirrel. And I'm warning you right now, I've been down this path. These things do change the sound. In the end, after years of trying tweaks, I decided I don't want any of them because I want to know what the product sounds like. I don't want a system that is tuned to what the tweaker guy thinks the system should sound like. And just because electrons line up doesn't necessarily mean it sounds better. It means it sounds different. It doesn't mean it sounds better to me. What has always sounded better to me was buying higher up in the electronic, in the component space, not trying to tweak lesser components, which typically these are for. Because as you understand, these are $100 a piece, man. So for somebody that has a $5,000 system, they can put in something for $100. They can get this result, and it's exciting, okay? But what happens so many times is people get a result and they don't question it. If they hear a result, they just assume it's good because it worked. They go, oh, it worked, okay? Just because it worked does not mean that it's good result. It just means that it changed the sound. So keep that in mind when you're, oh, I suppose I got to put this, well, I have to, I'm going to keep this further away from myself. I could put it up here, but then I have to be careful not to talk too loud. Well, maybe that's a good thing. Okay. So, you know, as I get, you know, I'm motivated. Okay. So, so here's the quantum clarifier. By the way, these things up here, these IQSEs, I have about 8 of them. They're $150 each on this site. If anybody wants them, call me up. You guys can have them for $80 a piece. So basically half price. Just holler. I've got 8 of them. I don't use them. The other thing too is that what I have found with many of these tweaks is they will change something when you first listen, and over time they will wax and wane. It will change. It will go from maybe sounding better to sounding worse, to sounding better to sounding worse. They don't stay consistent sometimes. That drives me up a wall. I need consistent sound. I can't have it change. So anyways, active room neutralizers, let's see, they are designed to activate the internal technology rather than current, creating an electric and a magnetic field. So, okay, basically, when activated, the units affect the air molecules in the room. Okay, so this thing you plug in and you're activating the air molecules in the room, rendering them compliant to sound waves. Okay, so okay, now we're operating outside the natural world, okay? In a natural world, you don't treat the sound waves. Are the sound waves treated at live music? No, they're not. So we're going into an area of pseudoscience, right? It's like an area where, yeah, it does change stuff, but does it make it better? We don't know. We go to the quantum clarifier. It's another thing, $100. Here's something, $3,000 for a set of speaker bullets, okay? So these are things that you put on your speaker, then you put your speaker cables on the end of those. So that's getting, you know, a little expensive. These are all, but everything else is pretty reasonable, okay? And Jack was a great guy. And I think Jeff Wells handles a lot of these products. I think Jeff uses these bullets inside his amps. And Jeff is a great guy. If you know Wells Audio, if you don't know Jeff, check out his stuff. He's another American producer of HiFi, and he's a good guy. We have shown together, and I like him enough to show my product in his rooms at shows. So that is that. Now let me go to something else, which is something that a customer sent me a link to this. Okay, there are also fuses. Okay, and let me show you something. Here is a fuse that is okay, and this is on TweetGeek. Again, I'm not saying anything poorly about Mike. I like Mike. I've met him before, and he sells these kind of things, and I'd like to talk to him and ask him more about how he feels about these things, because he is selling a $5,000 fuse. Now, it's not so much that he's the seller, it's more so that somebody makes this thing. Okay, so somebody is making a sacrificial fuse. Okay, this fuse is meant to sacrifice itself. Okay, and it's $5,000. So this is a $5,000. We'll make this clear. This is a $5,000 fuse that has a directionality. Okay, you got to flip your fuses, whatever. Many people will tell you got to change your fuse either way, one side to the other, and figure out which direction is the correct direction. How the flow, it goes in between. Anyways, I won't even get into this. You can pay, look, $451 a month. You can actually finance a fuse. Okay, you can finance a fuse for $450 a month that goes into your piece of gear, that if you get over voltage, it's going to blow, and your 5,000 is done. Okay, so this is where we're going. Okay, a $5,000 sacrificial fuse, and it's magic. Of course, it's magic. Who knew something so physically insignificant could sonically transform your audio components? Here's Mike. Many high-end audio tweaks I've heard sound great, but none. Oh, this is from, but none have matched the QSA's remarkable performance. I repeat none. So this is Clement Perry putting himself on the line for a $5,000 fuse. I don't know how expensive the fuse was that Clement is putting in here. But you know what, man? You want to argue this? Remove the fucking fuse. Oh, excuse me. I said the F word. Remove the fuse. Excuse me for that. Remove the fuse. Okay. Wire past it. Okay. That's free. Costs you nothing. Now you got nothing in there. Okay. Yeah, you won't have protection, but it's like, it's the same probably philosophy that these guys are going out. They're going to say, when was the last time you blew a fuse? Well, I don't remember that. Okay. Because you got breakers on your house. Okay. Well then, so I'll spend $5,000 on something sacrificial. So I say the same thing, wire past it. When was the last time you needed a fuse? The breaker's going to trip if there's a short. Mike Garner says same. He corroborates this feedback. Okay. So please note, all fuses are special order and non-returnable. Okay, great. You're going to spend $5,000 on a fuse and it's non-returnable. Like, oh my God, talk about putting your balls on the chopping block. Okay. So anyways, there's a bunch of people saying how it's so great and it's better than $10,000 power cords and all this stuff. The crazy part is there's people that do this shit. That's what's that's what blows me away. What blows me away isn't that people make this and that people sell it. It's that people buy it. It's like, if you're going to spend $5,000 spend $5,000 more on a damn DAC. Okay. And you won't need these things. Okay. That's the bottom line here. So we've got a $5,000 fuse. Okay. So I was curious. I went, let me look at what else. Okay. We've got a $7,500 power conditioner. Okay. So it's an adapter. Okay. It's treated with proprietary metallurgical process. So they got a coating on the metal, or they run a bunch of voltage through it, whatever it is. They call it a proprietary metallurgical process, which tells us nothing, but it means they treated the metal. Okay. More resolution, balance, and naturalness. I can get more resolution, balance, and naturalness from a better DAC. Okay. Most of these things are trying to cure the problems with a sharp DAC. Okay, something too sharp. So they need it to be more balanced, more natural. Okay, so you're going to buy a $7,500 adapter to put on your power cord, make it even more wobbly and loose. And I mean, okay, you get where I'm going. Okay, they're saying that it may make or break your component. It's like the pitch for this is, I'm not going to go into the pitch because it's just, there is no pitch to me that can rationalize a magic $7,500 adapter. I don't care what it does. Okay, it's in my opinion, You can finance this one for $676 a month. Oh my God. You know, ay, 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 Gavalt. I can't believe it. Okay. Here's the gold AC receptacle. Here's a $6,500 AC receptacle. Okay. Again, it's a treated, we can't see because there's a sticker on it. So this could very well be a Hubble. Let's see, it's got a TR. I can't see what brand it is, but it's hospital grade. That's what that thing means. So this is an isolated ground hospital grade plug. That's uh, okay, so $7,000. Okay, you see where I'm going with this thing. And of course, if we look down at the pitch, oh my God, it's it's going to make or break your rig. It's got to break in. The more expensive it is, the longer you gotta keep it in there before you hear a difference. All that kind of stuff. Here's another thing. We've got a LAN adapter. So a LAN, you plug in your cord in the back, your Ethernet cable, and then you plug this into your streamer or wherever, and and it's a pair. So you put one on each end of your cable, and it's $7,000. Okay. It's like, okay. So what this thing does, this probably exists in the commercial space. It's probably like a filter of some sort. Now, again, I'm speculating. Let's see if it tells us what it is. Most notable sound. What's funny is the most notable sonic improvements are always going to be a dramatic increase of soundstage width, depth, resolution, and naturalness. They use that for every single thing. Okay. So I'm not, again, this is nothing against, these guys just sell it. Okay, man. Somebody else makes it. Somebody else sells it. Whoever buys it, then, I just think it's crazy that this exists. Okay. And I'm showing you guys the reality. Okay. Now, who knows if anybody buys this? We don't even know if one of these has ever sold ever once. Okay. But the fact that it remains tells you how far these crazy hi-fi products go. Now, I decided to check out what is QSA. Who are they? Okay. Here's what I found out. Quantum Science Audio. It's a Chinese company. Okay. So here's a Chinese company. Here's all their prices. $2,800 for fuses, $5,000 for the fuses like we saw, all this cockamamie stuff. It's half in Chinese, it's half in English. The English that's in here is really hard to understand. It's like, it's form your own damn opinion. Okay. I'm not going to give you get where I'm going with this thing. These are, Chinese companies capitalizing on audiophiles. Who knows what it is? Maybe it is magic. Maybe they have a contract with the aliens, and this is magical technology. Maybe they, licensed, Christ to bless these things, and they're blessed by Christ. But you'd think that this is how these things are when you read the feedback from these things. It's really just, it's crazy what people say. It's like the second coming of Christ when they put these things in. And quite frankly, after 23 years of being in this business and going down the rabbit hole and trying this, I can't stand hearing it. Okay. Let's go to something else, even better. Here's an American company that makes this. I found this on eBay. This is something called Exotic Nanoflow Particle Gel. Okay. $750. You get a dot this size. This is a quarter showing you the size. This is what you get. I just zoomed in on it. You get, and we'll put it next to the quarter for scale. You get a drop or a glop or whatever you want to call it, a droplet of material that size for $750. Okay. And then people get it and they smear it all over their stuff. And then they have a magic orgasm, and, and then they tell everybody about it, and everybody thinks they're cuckoo. And, but they swear, and they would sell their baby, that they would put their mother's life on, that this is the magical new stuff. Now, typically these people will keep finding new stuff. Every year they find a new magic salve or ointment that they put on their stuff, and it's, and they go cuckoo. They get cuckoo-fied over it. This to me, I'll tell you what, and here's how my critical mind thinks. I look at something like this and I say to myself, this exists somewhere else. Okay. And these guys brought it to HiFi. Nobody creates these things for HiFi. They create them for other industries where they cost $100 a gallon, and then they adapt it. They take that stuff, which is maybe a lubricant or something like that, and then they mix it with Vaseline or something like that so it sticks. And then they bring it into the HiFi realm, and they charge exponentially for it. And then people fall for it. Now, you could just buy the automotive grade and get a similar effect, but once they adapt it for HiFi, it absolutely turns it into a joke, a clown show. This stuff could be quite literally magic. I don't really care. I don't care how good this is. Let's just assume this thing is absolute. Let's say every time you put it in, you have an orgasm. Is it worth $750? No, because it makes a mess every time you listen to your gear, you know? So let's take it down a notch. Let's say you have a spiritual awakening every time and you meet Jesus Christ every single time that you listen to your HiFi. Would that be worth it? Yeah, that would probably be worth $750. It would be red phone access to Christ, you know, every time you listen. But let's get realistic. What's it going to do? It's going to make it sound better. Okay. So what is it going to do? If you have a $24,000 DAC, and you've already got your system completely dialed, completely already there, then what's this going to do? Why is it even necessary? I propose that this is necessary for systems that are not there. So many of your systems are not across the line and are not there, that these products are able to exist and people buy them, because $750 is a lot less than selling your $12,000 DAC and upping it by 12 and getting a $24,000 DAC that eliminates the need for this kind of junk. Typically, if you've got this, you're also going to have $6,000 power cords. You're going to have all sorts of other stuff ad nauseum to tweak your system out. My point is, buy higher up in the gear. So anyways, this was a little experiment, a little deal to look at this nano flow we've got for $750. Now we get into the fun stuff. Okay. This is what I told you guys about before. This is the teleportation tweak. Okay. And this is by Jeff Cate. Okay. Now, I do not know this guy. Okay. I know he exists all over AudioGone. And as I read about him, okay, I already like him. I don't know him. He could be a complete asshole, because a lot of these guys are. But this guy, I just read it and I want to talk to him. That's the first thing I think when I read this shit, because it's so two things. First of all, it's completely anti-establishment. It completely gives a middle finger to the industry, which I love that already about the guy. He's a rebel. And it talks about stuff that operates in the dark, in the quantum space, shall we say, dark matter, Higgs boson. People thought that wasn't possible. All the vacuumness of space actually is something that can be measured, okay? But it's not there, right? Well, it quite definitely is. So this is where he operates. He operates in this realm. And what he claims here, and I also like that he starts out with a Jim Morrison lyric. So and sometimes to create you must first destroy. That could be like a Shiva reference. The Great Destroyer. I believe in that. So this dude already. This is from 2015, man. This is quite a ways ago. He talks about information fields, and everything that exists has an information field. It gives off an information, whether it's color, whether it's shape, whether it's whatever. It gives off an information field, morphic field. He's talking into really some heady stuff. And he's talking about many organisms live as free cells, yeast, and so forth. He goes into some deep stuff and he starts getting into physics and science and stuff like that. Basically, what this solution is, he says that and he charges $60 for it. It was $99 when I first saw this thing, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, whatever, it's $60. He makes a 20-second, what does it say, 20-second phone call? It's a 2-minute phone call or something like that. Or it says 20 seconds here. So as soon as I've finished clicking through, so he calls you on the phone or you call him, whatever. He does something to your cell phone that changes the information field on your cell phone. Okay. So what I don't understand, and we can ask him if he talks with us, is is why don't you just leave your damn cell phone out of the room? Then you don't have to worry about this thing being treated. But he's saying to have the cell phone, a treated cell phone in the room, is going to give some sort of an effect. Okay, maybe that will then treat your air molecules in your room. But he does something through the phone. So how is this possible? What could he possibly do? Somehow he would have to get onto the through the signal, whatever the cell signal is, would need to be able to transmit whatever he's doing. It would, in your receiver, somehow change the physical makeup. That's what he's saying. It changed. In the end, the one associated with this phone is attenuated by changing the physical characteristics of the phone on his end. So he's saying he changes the physical characteristics of your cell phone by you calling him for $60. Okay, this is HiFi, guys. This is the rabbit hole. This is the realm where that's why $24,000 DAC, dude. It's easy decision. It's like, get the freaking DAC, hang it up, forget all this BS, call it over with. I've got I'm closing on 30 pieces of these out in the field. Everybody has people are overjoyed. They have not replaced their DACs with another DAC. The only two guys that have traded, one guy had serious financial strife, like a bad thing happened with an investment. He needed to recoup cash. The other guy lost hearing in one ear. Those are the only two that I ever got back used. So he goes into the teleportation tweak. I told you guys the same guy makes Brilliant Pebbles. They're little bag, a Ziploc teeny little baggie of pebbles that you tape to your interconnects and stuff like that. This guy goes on and on about stuff. Here's some of his accolades. His education's aerospace engineering. You know, his work experience was NASA satellite operations and radar data analysis. Okay, so aerodynamics of high performance aircraft and reentry vehicles. So I had another guy that worked on the SR-22 at my house, and it was not Jeff Cate, somebody else. And super stiff springs, he just played around with stuff, and he's a DIYer. And you know, and he's created this stuff, which is really pretty crazy. We can go back to his, you know, he's got some interesting art on his website. Pure natural cork for damping capacitors and circuit boards. You put this on your capacitors. Flying saucers for wall outputs. You know, acoustic resonators. He's got all sorts of stuff. This guy goes and many of these companies super stiff springs, which, you know, we know that springs change over time. Springs change their properties, man. They do not stay the same. I don't like things that change. I like things that stay the same. And maybe he wants to argue that and come here, but I'd rather just talk to the guy and get to know him a little bit, because I'm sure at the very least we're going to have an interesting dude here. And he's got flying saucers for windows on afterburners. He's got things called afterburners. Let's see what his products are called. Brilliant Pebbles, codename White Poppy acoustic resonator. Clever little clock, which is a quartz clock that you put like alarm clock. Codename Green Meanie for room ceiling. True tone duplex flying saucers for windows. You know, he's got all sorts of dark matter optical treatment. You know, that must be for CDs. So he's got all sorts of these crazy sounding stuff. And furthermore, you can go to, this is on audioasylum.com. There are full threads discussing this. People disputing it, Jeff Cate defending it, or describing it, or explaining it away. And these people in these forums, which is complete squirrel food, you go down the damn rabbit hole in these forums. And I've done this. I've sat here and read all this stuff. And it's other guys that are engineers that will come on here, and it's a total nerd sword fight. Like, it's fun and entertaining to read it, you know, for some people. After a while, it gets to be too much, and it's like, I can't take it. I've already explored this underworld, and I'm out, you know. I tapped out. No way. I don't want to exist there. I don't want to even go there for a little while, because it messes my brain up, you know. And you catch demons in there, you know. It's not a healthy area for me. So if you like it there, go right ahead. But it's very interesting how there's a whole, and then there's people that will debunk this stuff. I know that Nanogel guy has made some pretty big claims in his history. All it takes is background checks on these guys, and you can find out what they've done in the industry, what claims they've made, people that have disproven their claims, and things like that. Because when guys make big claims like this, believe me, there's guys that want to knock them off their and prove that they're wrong. So that is basically it. I think that shows. Oh yeah, one more thing, which is this is what triggered this. Was I had a customer send me this. Now I can't find it on the website, but here it is right here. He took a screenshot of the page. I can't seem to find it again. These are USB adapters for $25,000 by this same Chinese company. A plastic USB adapter that you plug in your cable, mid USB, and it's what's USB? It's a printer cable. You're going to put a $25,000 adapter on your printer cable, feeding your DAC. Okay, so take it for whatever it's worth, man. You could buy a whole DAC that would make rather than put this in, and it would make your system better than whatever system needs this kind of crap to bring it up to speed or whatever. So anyways, these are the things that are in the audio world, in the hi-fi world. This is the Cuckooville part of what goes on in hi-fi. And I thought I would just bring you here out of interest so you guys could see some of the things that happen. Again, I'm not saying, I'm saying these are tall claims, and it's interesting to conceive the possibility that they may do something. Now, I've experienced some of them, the BuyBees in particular. There's no way I'm spending, thousands of dollars on this. I'll spend a couple $100 to check things out. I've tried some of the Audio Magic stuff. If you're going to buy a $5,000 fuse, in my opinion, bypass the whole fuse apparatus altogether. And then you remove that whole part, and you can't get better than that, right? So that ends the damn fuse thing like that. So the fact that fuses exist that are 5,000, I think is ridiculous. That's my opinion. Maybe they're magic, blah, 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 whatever. I'm assuming they all sound great. I'm not saying, but if you bypass it and you take the fuse out of there, there's nothing in the path, the audio in the pathway, and you can't get better than nothing than a straight wire. Okay. They'll claim, yeah, but if you put magic in the middle of the straight wire, then you have a magic. Or if you paint magic on top of the straight wire, then you've got a magic straight wire, which is better than a non-magic straight wire. Okay, I tap out. I can't go there. So I wanted to bring this to you guys just to show you where things go in hi-fi. So when you're thinking about a $24,000 DAC and you think that's crazy, how about a $25,000 USB adapter? Okay, let's take it into context. So thanks for joining. Hope to see you guys soon. If you haven't done this, go ahead and sign up for this for my channel. I should have done this earlier. Give me a thumbs up, sign up. If not, do it anyway. Call me up at 11 Stereo if you guys want some service. I will sell you stuff. I'll help you get your system onto the right track and do it within your budget, and I guarantee my results. So anyways, thanks for joining. I will see you guys soon. See you.